Did everybody see that post from earlier today about Dark Pulse? The CEO tweeted about me that he may sue me for inaccurate information. I could tell you what I said in the video, which I think is the reason he's saying that. I'll just wait for some other people to get on. Let me know in the chat if you saw that comment in my news feed. I could bring it up. So if you didn't see it, let me bring up the my community tab. That's just called. So Facebook's not evil. I don't think so. Yeah, I did a video on Dark Pulse, and the CEO said he commented in my video too, and he tweeted like a picture. He said this video has been screen recorded in its entirety and sent to our litigation team due to grossly inaccurate information. Never present false and misleading information. But the thing is, and I do admit there was one thing. Yeah, Robert, that's an interesting analogy. But I did mess up one thing, and it's pretty irrelevant for the video. But I did say, you're right, and I said I can redo it. But I don't think he cares about what I did was because I was using Yahoo Finance numbers, and they're in thousands. So I'm used to talking about them in thousands, and then sometimes I have a picture of like the 10Q to get more detail. And his numbers are actual numbers, not in thousands. So I talked about them as if they were in thousands. So I referred to them as like, it was the income statement we were talking about. So I said he has 25 million of depreciation, even though it's 25,000, 480 million of loan acquisition costs. So I just went through to explain what the expenses are. But it's pretty irrelevant because I wasn't really, he has no revenue. So obviously it doesn't really matter. Of course, it's a net loss for the year with no revenue. But I think this is why he got mad. It was on the equity section. Could have been on other sections too. And it's just, I use a lot of analogies, and obviously I can't go into the entire detail of the company, because I don't even know the whole detail of the company. What are your favorite metrics? I like, I guess, price to free cash flow. But you have to look at multiple together. But yeah, I guess price of stock over free cash flow per share. So I'll tell you the analogy I did, and it was off of his. And I didn't mess up these numbers. I didn't put these in thousands. I said the right number. So hey Ben, what's up? So I said he has negative 3 points. I didn't say him. I didn't even know who he was till he tweeted about me. But I said the company has negative 3.6 million of equity. So they raised 2.8 million from selling their business. So when you sell stock, you report it as common stock and additional paid-in capital. So it's roughly $2.8 million they raised. And if you and the way I put it was, if you have a company that and you needed money to grow the company, so you ask a friend, can you give me $2.8 million for my company? And you own my entire company, but I'll run it, and I'll take a salary, but you could take all the profits that are left over. So the company took that $2.8 million and lost it all, and then added $4 million of debt and lost all of that. And now they have, what they have to show for it is a deficit of $6.7 million from running their business. I think he didn't like that. Another thing I said was they only have $153,000 of cash, of current assets, and $3 million of current liabilities. And they lost all the money. So they're going to need funding just to get through the next 12 months. But I didn't say anything. I didn't say like the company's doomed, because they're pre-revenue. So obviously they're going to lose money. I just said, as long as they can show that their technology is getting close to being monetized, then they'll be able to get more debt or equity to keep the business going, which I'm sure they will be. So I think that's what bothered him, but I don't know. He didn't tell me. He just said it's grossly inaccurate and inflated numbers. But I mean, he's just focusing on the mistake I made, which is fine. I mean, I could fix it, but I don't think that's. Maybe he'll come onto this live stream and clear it up. So I took the video down right away, and yeah, his Twitter followers. I could try to bring that up. I don't even want to look at, because I'm sure there's more comments on his post. I'm just like, don't want to see all the negative comments, but I could show you what they said. This is his Twitter feed. And it's funny because when I Googled him, when he commented on my video, I thought it was somebody just made a fake profile with his name. And I Googled him, and the first thing that came up was my face with his picture on the Twitter feed. That was like the first thing that came up in Google. Okay, so this video has been screened. Never present misleading information. Don't want to promote this guy's YouTube and give him views. He either has no clue or he decided to purposely inflate numbers, which legal will be reviewing. If you're really aggressive, like a bulldog, you can usually win if you just keep like pouncing on people and don't let them say anything. Because everybody takes his side, of course. They're not going to listen to me. Who am I? Is he bashing you? I asked because I won't even watch it. As my profile says, I despise BS. I happen to truly believe in accomplishments you've laid out, and I won't give ear to falsehood. There's enough of it in the world. I choose to believe onward. He posted false and misleading information at minimum, which is libel. You cannot combat every dreamer, wannabe, pretender, lunatic. Sadly, suppose that the majority of your investors know why they invest in dark pools. Of course, you got to intervene, but everybody probably have to hire a whole team to drive out false spreaders. But he's the one who's spreading false stuff by saying I'm lying. I'm just using his numbers. And looks like it's deleted. I could not find it on YouTube, on the tube. He's been put on notice. Can we just be friends, Dennis? Lefard, I just want to surround myself with people like you. I love how you operate. Zilla Nation. I don't believe I have. Should I reply to this? I don't think I've been on. No, I have not been on notice. I have. Can we be friends? I know you know that no misinformation is going to prevent the inevitable that is quickly approaching. A little irritating, but I know and trust it is easy to roll our collective eyes and keep feeling the excitement build around our dream. I'm also in CEI stock, and everybody knows what is happening with that. Did you see my CEI video? I said the title, like, this company's doomed or something like that. And that very day, it dropped 90%. It was just coincidence, of course, but because of misleading, DPLS shall concur as well. I remain in dark pulse because I have zero doubt. Fear is a natural. The ability to overcome fear is weak. Moral of the story, get your facts before you post. I haven't watched this, but I know Scott's videos, and it's always the same format. See, finally, somebody's backing me up. He makes an overview of the company. He shows the financials data from Yahoo Finance. He makes a DCF with CF projections. Finally, shows some ratios in comparison with. He's quite accurate, and the whole process is almost aseptic, apart from cash flow projections, which of course are subjective by nature. I don't know what you didn't like about it, but if inaccurate information refers to DPLS financials, you should litigate Yahoo and not a guy on social media. Oh, this is awesome. Somebody finally backed me up. Good for you, Dennis. Zillas don't play games unless it's chess. That guy probably feels like this now, crying. You're amazing, boss. Yeah, I do plan on uploading it. I just want to contact a lawyer just to make sure before I upload it. But even if I uploaded it, it's public information, and I could make an opinion. Like, there's no thing. I just took it down because I didn't want to deal with it. And this is why we're at 9 cents. People like this. That's like that. Every time, it's like there's always a scapegoat. Like the reason the company doesn't have any revenue, and the reason the stock is so low is because of people posting negative things, which has nothing to do with how the company operates. There's so much more negativity on massive companies like Google or whatever, any company you could pick, Facebook. Nobody even talks about these companies. Kick his ass. Get him, Dennis. Boss man, not playing around. This time, Zilla Nation. Beast mode. When the Q3 revenues are released, it will put these idiots to rest. I even said that in the video. I said they're pre-revenue, which of course is not a negative thing at all. Some companies just don't get revenue until their product gets completed, like pharmaceuticals. But I said they should have revenue in Q3. That's what, and I put a picture of the article I quoted. That's from the CEO. I said that in the video. The CEO said that in a interview that they should be getting revenue this in the Q3. So I said next time they report the 10Q, we'll find out how much revenue they have. Once they see the numbers in black and white, they will lose all credibility. Keep grinding, boss. We believe in the company. Liars are unacceptable. Thank you for having everyone's back. We think a lot alike. You and I always defend what you must protect. The others, our business, ourselves. Great job out there, Mr. O'Leary. We need more people like you in this world. Yeah, buy the dip. I own Facebook. I'm really. This is comical. I'm invested in you, not them. Get some sleep, Dennis. These scum feel sorry for themselves. 20%. He crossed the line. I'm not letting him get away with it. It's disappointing that there are adults out there that do this. Take them down, Dennis. Punish them. So everybody like automatically assumes I'm like trying to like bash the company. I mean, of course, it doesn't sound good because the financials don't look good, but it's not like I'm conveying like don't invest. I can't help it if the financials don't look good. But most CEOs would just say, well, of course we're pre-revenue. Of course we have losses. We're not going to have good financials. But that's what I do in my channel, right? I just go through the financials and explain what they mean. Thank you. Thank you for having the shareholders back. You are an amazing boss. Need more like you. Great day to you, sir. Another idiot on iHub trying to stir the pot and cause fear. It must get tiring. He said the same thing for a long time and most likely not even holding. This is not very appropriate. The guy admitted he made a mistake. Unlike CNBC, Kramer, the CEO pointed out the issue. He's trying to correct himself. It's a quote from a movie that my girlfriend was about. Easy there. This is not very appropriate. The guy admitted he made a mistake. Hey, Lily. I did reply to a few of these, but obviously they just attack me every time I try to reply. Let me see if I could. He actually liked, which I thought was funny. He liked one of my tweets. This was from months ago. I put out I just tweeted about my Ford review. Check out my review of Ford stock, and he actually liked it. Which I thought was, but he liked it right after I brought down the video. So I think that was his sign of saying thank you. He wrote, don't want to promote the guy's YouTube and give him views. He either has no clue. And I took it down. I really only try to discuss what is on the financials. I try to just explain what the numbers are without giving too much of my opinion. Should probably stick to competitive eating. As disgusting as that is, you probably can't fuck that up. Good luck in court. Could you imagine someone who barely gets 1,000 views per video? Like how could you would spend like at least $10,000-$20,000 because you have to pay lawyers. The problem is, in order to explain the numbers, you have to understand them yourself. One day you may convince someone who has already put their savings into a good stock to panic and sell a loss. I hope no damage was done. And I said, did you even watch the video? Did you watch the video? Because if they watched the video, they would see like I don't even barely give up in my opinion. It's just talking about. I said, besides a blunder of saying millions instead of thousands, I didn't say anything wrong. I said positive things also. I do a video a day and hardly anyone watches them. So why would I benefit from people selling their stock? And then someone, of course, are you seriously asking how you could benefit by spooking people into selling their stock? If you don't know this, you have no business doing securities videos on YouTube. And I replied to that. I said, let me know how much money you make from shorting the market and trying to convince people to sell. You'll make nothing no matter how hard you try. Like it's not like the early days of the internet, like 1990. I mean, you can't. There's just so much. There's so many people, so many millions and millions of shares and billions of dollars, and we don't have a platform. You would never make money by shorting a stock and then talking negatively about it. You would never make any money unless that stock went down, which would be totally irrelevant of what you said. I don't think you need to defend yourself like this. Twitter is garbage. We'll just ignore it and make a new video. The thing is, he's going to get upset. I know it. And he's not mad. I don't think he cares about the fact that I said millions instead of thousands. It's just something for him to focus on by saying this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Because that was the least of, I think what really bothered him was that I said they have no money. They can't cover. I mean, I showed the 10Q. I didn't even show Yahoo Finance. I believe, but I said they only have 150,000 of current assets, and this is the latest 10Q, and 3 million of current liabilities, and they've already lost all the money they've raised through debt and equity. They're down 6.7 million, so they just need money to continue on. I think that bothered him. And also the way I explain how his equity works. But I did tweet today saying I plan to repost. He seems like he tweets a lot, all out around the same time. He might respond to you tomorrow morning, afternoon. Oh, that's a good, very perceptive. I can't find the tweet I sent him, but I said, this guy, there go, you can't put the genie back in a bottle. There goes your YouTube channel and bank account savings. You fucked with the wrong guy. They act like this is a communist country or something. Like, what can he really do? Like, spend his whole life trying to sue me? How do you justify doing a few minutes 10K analysis on different stocks in different sectors when analysts spend 16 hours a day covering one sector? What do you mean? You're asking how do I doing a few minutes 10K analysis? What do you what I don't know what do you mean by that? Do you mean the videos are too short and I should be spend more time? Or do you just mean because I keep it high level so everybody could follow at least the idea of what I'm saying. I mean, when I'm on my own, I go a lot deeper, but to try to explain like these really nuanced things, it would be impossible. So I just try to keep it high level so people at least grasp the concept, and then maybe on their own. And I thought like these live streams, we can do more deeper analysis if anybody wanted to. I just feel like the more you respond, the more fuel you give them. Not worth it. That's all. It's a really dumb statement. Do you think W8 is going to beat earnings? Yeah, I stopped responding. In the beginning, I did because I was all frazzled by his post, and I was like defending myself. But I haven't responded. Well, now I did, I guess, but I haven't responded since the beginning. It's just interesting how like how the media could slant a story. Like you could take something like a true statement, and then you can constantly like refute it or like bash it, and then eventually everybody just believes it. Like propaganda, like Hitler did. If you just constantly say something over and over and over again, take countless hours a day covering one sector for years, and you could hop from one sector to another swiftly. Well, I just have a formula to do it, and I really don't like listening to financial analysts or because no matter how much they say they're totally unbiased, they all have a bias. Because like if somebody pays me, which only happened like 4 or 5 times, if they pay me a few $100s to do a video on their company, I'm not gonna like lie and say great things, but I'm probably gonna put a slight slant on it because I don't want them to get mad at me for saying anything really negative. So I'll always put it kind of. So anybody who's like working for a living, they're getting paid by, whether they're not, maybe not directly, but they know if they have to say nice things about certain companies. They can't lie. They can't they can't lie. They can't, like if something's like in this case, like you can't really say it because there's nothing positive to say about their financials. Thanks a lot, Tuan. Appreciate it. Yeah, everybody has an agenda, and I even say that in my videos. Like, there's certain stocks. Like I did Nokia today, and I just like the direction of the company, so I'm biased. So my analysis may be slightly more biased in saying positive things about them. But if there's companies that I just don't like the business model, I'm biased against them because nobody can change the way they feel. I mean, and I could be wrong, of course. But yeah, exactly. But it's just crazy that, I mean, it's a pretty small company, 500 million market cap. But I mean, it's not like, a little grocery store on a corner, $500 million company, that a guy can spend so much time on Twitter. And interacting with investors is great, but so much time trying to like minimize someone, or because I've seen other posts by this guy like bashing people for saying anything slightly negative about his company. There was a good I did Nokia. Let me bring up Nokia. Yeah, I watched some of these YouTube videos and they're just terrible. They just don't know what they're so bad. What company is this? Nokia. Okay. This is really interesting. I hope you watch my Nokia video because I think I came up with a good way to explain deferred tax assets. Because you can see in 2020, Nokia had 22 billion euros of revenue, which was lower than 2018 and 19. But look at their operating profit. It's a lot higher. 2018 was negative and they had more revenue. And 2019 was half with a lot more revenue, like 2 billion, 1.5 billion more. So the new CEO came in 2020. He sold off all the businesses, all the units that were not that profitable with low margins, that were kind of inefficient. He sold off all the crappy business units, and he's now just focusing on the most profitable ones. And look at that. Look, I mean, it's even better in the trailing 12 months because their financials go up to, what do I think about meme stocks? I mean, I wouldn't buy a meme stock. It's just gambling if you want to do that. So they're really doing a good job. But then you see they have a 2.5 billion euro loss. And the only reason was because they had this income tax expense. This is going to be hard to explain. I don't know if I could. It was easy in a video when I was prepared. Let me see if I could find that. What is it called? A D. Okay, here's where it explains it. Learning deferred tax asset material. Do I recommend it? I mean, you don't really need it for anything, but if you want to take the CFA, you should definitely do it. It's interesting to learn it, but I'd love to see your analysis on HPQ and ATT. Oh, alimentation, Couche-Tard, is that ATD? Are you Canadian? So they passed through a $3.3 billion tax expense onto the income statement. And this is really confusing. It's a derecognition of a deferred tax asset. So let me get my notes up. Okay. Okay, I got my notes. Okay, so deferred tax asset is a temporary difference carried on the balance sheet. Where is it? I had more notes. Okay, so it's just an asset that's carried on a balance sheet that you can use sometime in the future. So an example of a deferred tax asset is if you overpaid your taxes. Say last year you overpaid your taxes. Then next year you can use that tax credit to reduce your tax bill. So the way I explained it in the video, which I think is clear, but okay, say you had a $50,000 tax credit, and it really doesn't matter how you got it. You could have overpaid $50,000 on your taxes the last year or the year before, and that's how you got the tax credit. Or you could have bought, say, 3 Tesla cars for your family, and you got a $50,000 tax credit. So say you earned $50,000 for the year. So since you earn $50,000 per year, that's your taxable income. And you have that tax credit. So it looks like you had 0 taxable income. So you pay no taxes for the year. So like your net income for the year is 0. If you had an income statement, it would show pre-tax income of $50,000, $50,000 in taxes, which you didn't pay anything. It's just a tax credit. It's a plug. 0 net income. If you didn't have that tax credit, if you didn't have that $50,000 tax credit, and you made $50,000, say your tax rate is 20%, you would have paid $10,000 in taxes, right? 20% of 50,000. So you would have paid $10,000 in taxes for the year, and you would have 40,000 left over. So your pre-tax income will be 50, your taxes will be 10, and your net income will be $40,000. So the year you reported 0 net income, right? What was your cash flow that year? How much cash did you generate from your, I guess, your job? Does it, if anybody's following my analogy? Anybody? So the year you used a $50,000 tax credit and you got paid $50,000 from your job, you reported 0 net income, but you actually generated $50,000 of cash because you didn't have to pay any taxes that year. So you generated $50,000 in cash, even though you reported 0 net income for the year. But the year you reported 40,000 of net income, you generated $40,000 of cash flow. I'm just talking about how deferred tax assets work, which is not that straightforward. It's not like a simple concept. Did anybody say your salary is $50,000? Your taxes is usually 20%. So you can call that, let's call it your net income or your profit, whatever you want to call it. We'll call it net income since we'll pretend it's your income statement. And we call this your pre-tax income. So your net income for the year is $40,000. You generated $40,000 of cash flow this year. If you made $50,000 and you paid 10,000 taxes, so you actually generated 40,000 cash flow. So your net income and cash flow are the same. But let's just pretend you have $50,000 tax credit. It won't help you make any money now. But it'll help you understand financial statements if that's what you're interested in. So if you got a $50,000 tax credit, however you got it, it doesn't matter. And let's just say you have it, and you could, as an individual, have a tax credit. Same thing as a business. So if you make $50,000 credit, you make $50,000, and then the tax credit this is the tax credit. So it would absorb all your income. That's how tax credit works. It reduces your taxable income. It doesn't reduce your taxes. So it appears you have adjusted pre-tax income. Okay, so if you have a tax credit of $50,000 and you happen to make $50,000, it would appear you made nothing because the tax credit would wipe out that $50,000. And it's beneficial to you because you save, you don't pay any taxes, right? You zero, your income is zero, so you pay zero taxes. Your net income, you're zero, but you generated $10,000 more of cash. That's like when you look at the income statement and you see a company like we just looked at. Let's look at my I thought I did this already. Oh, I didn't do that part. Okay. Right. It has to be applied to your pre-tax income so you can calculate your taxes. So you pay lower taxes because of the deferred. You might actually pay more taxes with a deferred tax liability. But you could see they reported a $3 billion loss in 2020, but they generated $1.5 billion of cash flow. That's why sometimes people say they just look at the income statement, like I used to when I was younger, and they say, oh, they lost money. They lost $3 billion. Nobody looks at the cash flow statement. But then if you look at the cash flow statement, you go, how can they make money when they have $3 billion loss? But for Nokia, they passed through this massive deferred tax asset that they were carrying on their balance sheet, but the company didn't need to carry it anymore. They had to get rid of it. So the opposite would be true for deferred tax liability. the opposite was true. If you underpaid your taxes, so you have a deferred tax liability, that will add to your taxable income. So the opposite is true. Like, the company may report $80,000 of net income, and you're saying, wow, that's so much better than last year. Last year, they only reported $40,000 of net income, but they generated less cash. They generated only $30,000 in cash with so much more net income. Maybe it's just too hard to explain. It is a little confusing. I'm invested in Berkshire Hathaway, Facebook, Kraft Heinz, Accelera. Well, I wouldn't say misleading looking at the balance sheet. It's misleading when looking at this income statement and statement of cash flows. The balance sheet shouldn't be misleading. The income statement's the most misleading. Cash flow statement might be misleading. But balance sheet, I would say it could be misleading, but it's probably the least likely, I think. Why would you say the balance sheet was misleading? Oh, Tuan, you got it? Did it make sense? Oh, I'm glad somebody followed my analogy. Now, the thing is, that doesn't always have to be the case. It just could be when there's some the company can pass through a large asset impairment, and that could really drag down their net income. Or the company can pass through a huge gain, like they can sell part of their business. So it's confusing. You can't really. How long do you hold a stock once you invest? Well, I invest to not sell, and ever, maybe 20, 30 years, but I do sell, of course. But when I buy something, I plan not to ever sell it until I need money, I guess. Or I guess if I want to buy something else, which I don't really do. I usually just buy stuff with cash. I don't really sell to buy stuff. Unless, of course, there's a stock I don't like anymore and I really want to get rid of it, then I'll sell it. What do you mean if taken at face value? Are you saying that the deferred tax asset is kind of like manipulating the balance sheet? Is that what you mean? Or the deferred tax liability? I'm not sure what you mean by face value. Okay, I guess we ran this into the ground. Okay, I guess I'm gonna get going now. Well, thanks for talking about the evil company. I'll see everybody soon, I guess. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow, Ben.